You know the deal. Time to get this party started. All right, let's go. All right, starting the timers. So what is in store for tonight? You know, sometimes I'm just kind of like sitting at my computer doing other work, and then all of a sudden I get this revelation of what kind of workout I want to do for Tuesday night. And so this one was just came to me in a dream. No. Came to me just kind of hanging out, sitting there thinking, what kind of exciting workout can I make out for these guys? So for today, we are going to move through 3 main blocks. And the hardest part about this main block is that you're going to do a 6-minute block, a 10-minute block, and a 14-minute block. And one of the things that you will begin to notice as you start to ride outside, if you're riding outside, is that you have a lot of transition from just riding along to the terrain changing, or you turn and you get the wind in your face. So you might have to change your cadence, shift to a harder gear, or just make a change in going a little faster because maybe you're riding with someone and you're in a group and the pace kind of increases a little bit. So these efforts tonight, what I want you to really reflect on as we do them is each one is going to have a designated time and a cadence associated to it. After that time and cadence, you're going to do a 30-second effort where you're going to pick the cadence. You're going to pick up the effort level. The cadence will naturally come with it. So it's going to almost be like having to start that climb or increase that pace or get a headwind. So it's going to get a little harder after each of those efforts. So when those efforts start to get harder and you do these over and over and over again, then the body starts to understand when you get outside what you need to do when that happens. So that's really what this is going to teach you. The other part is we're going to have lots of freedom here with gear to pick the gearing that's going to match the cadence and the effort level. And I'll give you those as we move through this. We're going to do high cadence. We're going to do low cadence. We're going to hit every possible cadence that you might see when you're out on the road, or even when you're just on your trainer. So it's going to keep it nice and fresh. You're going to have, it's probably going to go super fast because these workouts always seem to go super fast, which is good because then you get it. And I won't name any names, but someone asked me today, and they know who they are, how important is that recovery drink after those workouts? Extremely important. So recognize the fact that after you've done a hard workout, you need to replenish that hydration, give those muscles some feedback with some protein, and get your body ready for the next day. So if you haven't gotten into that routine of doing that recovery drink or shake or whatever source you're using, start doing it for a couple of weeks and see how different it is for you. I know for myself, when I don't do that, I notice it the next day. So it does matter. And even if you're doing a simple whey protein, you can put it in milk, you can put it in water, you can put it in, even if you want to make like a hot chocolate out of it, you can do that. or make a shake like you guys know I've done for you. So keep that in the mix. All right, so here's how we're going to start. We're going to do 5 minutes, 30 seconds of standing, 30 seconds of seated, just to get the body up and running. So I want everybody, big ring, down to your 15. So remember, you're going to see 3 gears underneath that. 3, 2, 1, stand it up. Let's go. The legs should start burning right away, because this isn't an easy gear. This is really going to force you to have to wake up the muscles, wake up the body, and get ready for what's to come. Want to bring in that lactic acid. Sit back down. Leave it in that gear. Grind through this. That big ring definitely makes it a lot harder. Think about all those metrics. Light feet. Pulling up. Steady hips and standing up. Find your rhythm. Feet are over the pedals. Hips are back. Chest is up. Sitting back down. You're starting to breathe heavy. That's okay. That means the lungs are getting ready. The heart's pounding. The body is moving the blood. And stand it up. In your hoods. Nobody's on their deck. Nobody's down in their drops. Notice as we go through this, if you're not using a smart trainer, have you screwed down the tension enough? Sitting down. If your wheel's slipping, or it sounds like a little bird, you might need a little bit more, maybe 1 turn or 2. Probably half a turn will get you what you need. Almost to 3 minutes. Hand up. Now is when you'll start really feeling the burn. If you're making that burn happen, you're in charge of the effort. So whatever works for you. 3, 2, sitting down. I know some people are either coming back from an injury, dealing with an injury, or just getting back on the bike. We got 1 more minute to go for our warm-up. 3, 2, last time standing. Think about your feet on this one. You're clipped in, so you can help yourself all the way around that pedal stroke. Sitting down. Last 30 seconds. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but hopefully you have your water, your fan, and your towel, because you're now going to need it. Three, two, one. To your small ring, all the way up to the easiest gear you have. Take a drink. So finish that bottle by the end of the night. All right, so here's how this first one's going to go. The shortest block of the three. 6 minutes long. First minute, 100 cadence. Small ring. You pick the gear. For each of these, each 1 minute effort, I want you to kind of sit somewhere near the top of zone 3, bottom of zone 4. I don't want you to completely ruin the legs, because I want you to be able to, after each 1 minute effort, to do a 30-second hard effort in the seat, in the saddle, which means whatever gear you're in, you're going to shift to 2 harder gears, and you're going to give me an all-out effort for 30 seconds. Then as we move through the 6 minutes, you're going to go to the next minute, which is 90 cadence, followed by 30 seconds. Then the last minute is 80 cadence, followed by a 30-second. Then you're going to get a nice, healthy minute-and-a-half rest till we move into the next set. So, gauge your effort. What I want you to learn from this is if you go too hard in those efforts prior to the 30 seconds, then you have nothing left for that 30-second effort. So, gauge it here. Learn how to gauge your effort level and use your metrics to help you get there. All right, so we're looking for 1 minute at 100 cadence, small ring. You pick the gear at the top of zone 3, bottom of zone 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. You're just going to hold it nice and steady, keeping the effort consistent from the beginning to the end. No higher than 100. So if you're hitting 110 in whatever gear you're in, then go ahead and give yourself one harder gear. Those of you using power, you might see your numbers jumping around. That's just a settling. Once you settle in, the numbers will start to settle in. When I count it down, 2 harder gears, you're going to give me 30 seconds, like a sprint, but seated. 2 harder gears, 3, 2, let's go. 30 seconds. Keep the legs spinning at whatever cadence you can maintain. Just make it feel like you're going hard. Then when you shift, you're going to go to 90 next for a minute. 3, 2, 1. 1 minute. Find the gear. Get to 90. Now your heart rate is going to be a little elevated. Try to get it back down so you fall back into that zone that you were in for the previous minute. And again, if your cadence is higher than 95, Shift to another gear. That would be harder, so you can settle in. You can see how each of these 30 minutes or 30 seconds is going to change as we go because your gearing is changing. 2 harder gears. 3, 2, 30 seconds. Let's go. Hard and fast. Control the effort. Give me everything you got. Three, 2. Now you're going to 80. 80 for a minute. Same thing. Let the heart rate come down. Bring the power right to that perfect place. No higher than 85. Concentrate. 80 is going to feel good. Working on a little bit more strength with this one. Hopefully you still have 2 gears to go to. And you give me one more 30-second hard effort seated. Shift in 2, 3, 2, 30 seconds. Let's go. Good solid circular pedal strokes. Get in your most powerful position. Use those glutes. 3, 2, 1. Nice easy gear. Woo! Told you that first set was going to go fast. 1 set down. A minute and a half. Nice easy gear. Take a drink. So a little story for you guys. I love female cyclists. And I especially like type A female cyclists. So I was riding on Saturday, I believe. I was by myself. And I was kind of clipping along, but I wasn't going super fast. And in the distance behind me, when I stopped at a light, I thought there was one person on a bike coming up from behind me. Well, that one person actually was 3. So as I sat at the light changed, and this group of 3, 2 guys and a woman, passed me, went through the light as it was green, and immediately the woman in the group, recognizing that I was female, gets to the front and starts to hammer. I loved it. She was trying to go as hard as she could go. So of course, as etiquette shows it, they're foreign to me. I don't know them. So I don't get right up behind them and get in their pace line because they haven't invited me to. All right, I'll finish my story once I get past what our next group is. So we're going to do the same thing as we just did. But each one of these is going to change. Now you're 2 minutes with a 30-second sprint. The difference is we're looking at a low cadence here. 70 for the first 2, 60 for the next, 50 for the following. Each 30-second effort, we're out of the saddle. So I want you in, big ring. Everybody go there. Find what gear is going to get you to 70 and keep you right at the top of zone 3, bottom of zone 4. Let's go. Again, if you're at 75, bring that cadence down and bring that gear to a harder one. I want you right at 70, kind of between 69 and 71. So back to this group, you know, I didn't get into their pace line. I kept myself about 5 to 10 feet away from them. They didn't say a word to me. And man, this girl was pushing it hard. So I just stayed there the whole time. And she came off the back, from front to come to the back. Still didn't say anything. I said to Randy, if that would have been us, we would have said, hey, come on, jump in. We'll take you as far as whatever way we're going, and if our directions go different, then you can drop off. But unfortunately, I didn't get that from them. So eventually, our paths went different ways. But it was an interesting study of humans, and I love that. All right, we're coming up to almost our 2-minute mark. You can either stay in this gear, shift to one harder, but I want you to give me 30 seconds out of the saddle. 3, 2, let's go. And don't just go easy. Make it feel like you're going hard. Push the body. Stay with it. 5, 3, 2, now you're going. 2 minutes at 60. Again, pick the right gear. Stay in your big ring. Let the heart rate drop. Might take you a little while to dial it in. That's okay. So on that same ride, this is where I got the complete opposite. I'm riding down the road, and a landscaping truck pulling a trailer comes around me. When the trailer gets to about parallel to me, I notice it hanging off the back, drafting off that trailer, is this guy that I see in our neighborhood who's definitely a sprinter. He's all legs, and he's fast. So he is now drafting off this truck and going fast and hard. So eventually, I don't see him anymore. I keep riding. 10 miles down the road, he's coming in the opposite direction. And he's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, yeah, nice draft back there. He's like, yeah, that was sweet. So there's your differences between our cyclists out there. Here we go. 3, 2, 30 seconds. Out of the saddle. Keep the legs moving. Ten to go. 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes. At 50. Find 50. Yes. 50 is slow. The hard part about 50 is really try not to push. Look at your knees. Make sure they're tracking. They shouldn't be pushing out. You shouldn't be moving like this. Use your glutes. Sit up so you can use that core. Keep the body strong. Shoulders are down. Little bend in the elbows. 1 minute down. 1 minute to go. Told you these would go fast. And the sweat is happening. 50 cadence. Hopefully you're in that same range. Took you a little bit to bring the heart rate down, especially when you stand. This is also a good practice for knowing that being in a hard gear, you can't get any jump out of it because your legs get too dead. 3, 2, standing up. Come on, last 30 seconds. Then you're going to get a nice long rest. Really go for it here. 5, 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Woo! Easy gear. Towel off. Take a drink. Get ready for the next effort. Woo! I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but they got snow in upstate New York today. What? Snow? Really? Oh my God. That would be pretty weird. We might see some flurries tomorrow, actually. So keep looking out your window. The tour of Turkey that's happening right now, they had to modify the first stage because it snowed in the mountains. So they modified it to a 72-kilometer race, which for those guys, they did in like an hour and a half or something. It was some ridiculous amount of time. I couldn't even believe it, but it was a completely flat course. So they were probably sitting at 28, 30 miles an hour the whole time. So that was kind of fun to see. And that race, the cool part is, part of watching these races is just seeing the scenery. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Turkey, but it's an interesting landscape. The buildings are cool, the landscape's awesome, and the mountains are pretty incredible. So if you have a chance to get it, it's on GCN Plus, if you have that. All right, so we're almost done with our rest period. 30 more seconds to our last set. 3 minutes at 100, 30-second sprint. 3 minutes at 90, 30-second sprint. And then 3 minutes at 80, 30-second sprint. All of them seated, those sprints. But I want you to go, if you can, maybe one harder gear than you did in the previous one. And I want you to be really conscientious of the difference between the 30-second sprint off of these and the 30-second sprint off of the lower cadences. So, small ring, find the gear, get yourself to 100. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds. 3 minutes with the 30-second after it. That'll be seated. No higher than 100, guys. I was just hitting 104. So I made myself shift to one harder gear. Get right back in to that heart rate range or the power range you were in previously. Now this high cadence work, you can really work on those perfect circles. Really feel your feet being light. Let the body work efficiently because it can do so at these higher cadences. One minute's done. 2 to go. Settling in. I found the place for me. My cadence is right there. My power is where I want it to be. I feel nice and comfortable. Just like I tell you guys, I go through the same metrics. So I noticed when I was riding last weekend, I was kind of slouching a bit. As soon as I started getting my core engaged, then I was feeling stronger. So it's constant self-talk. And of course, as I've warned you, it is different when you go outside. You have terrain, you have wind, you have elements. You're stopping and starting. So it's very different than what we've been doing for over a year now. Plus, you're probably going for a longer time for your period. Okay, we're coming up on our 3 minutes. 2 gears harder when I count it down. 30 seconds seated. Two gears harder. 3, 2, let's go. 30 seconds. Find the best spot in your bars. If you want to be in your drops, that's okay. 10 to go. Don't let your cadence drop. 3, 2. Now you're at 90. 3 minutes. Find the gear. Get to the cadence. You might have to shift around. Three minutes here. Take a drink if you need it. It's a little longer effort. Everybody's looking good. Settled in. 1 down. 2 to go. Remember, we want all of these to look the same. So Randy's getting ready to do a 2-week hike on the Appalachian Trail. So he hasn't had all his gear out in a long time. So he's been going out with his pack on. Today, he took his stove and he cooked himself lunch. So he said he sat down on this rock next to a lake in Harriman. As he's getting his stove ready, these 2 Canadian geese come out of nowhere, land in the water, start paddling towards him. He said they got within like 5 feet of him, and they were both going, like hissing at him. He said it got so bad, he had to stand up, get his poles, clang them together, and ultimately they went back in the water. So obviously they were looking for some food or something, or he was sitting next to their nest. All right, we're coming up on our 3-minute mark. A couple of shifts, 30 seconds seated, nice and hard. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Get the cadence up, get the effort up. Going for it here. Woo! 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Looking for 80. Same effort as before. Remember, you might need to shift either up or down. Dial it in. 3 total minutes. Don't let your power drop. Don't let your heart rate get too high. You have to kind of conserve a little so you have something left for that 30 seconds. One minute down. 2 to go. Stay consistent. So, of course, as Randy's preparing, our biggest challenge is, do you remember where I put my Leatherman? Do you know where those inflatable pillows are? Fortunately, we've been able to find most of the stuff. His tent and his sleeping bag are the main things. His backpack. Now it's all the little stuff. 2 minutes down. 1 to go. Stick with it. It's late in the workout. You know what that means. This is when it counts. Right here, at the end, when the body starts to get tired And the mind does too. One more 30-second effort. Do you want to shift to a harder gear for that last 30? You may. Make it happen now. 3, 2, let's go. 30 seconds. Bring up the effort. Bring up your leg speed. Woo! Come on. Stick with it. 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Woo! Nice and easy. Small ring. Easy gear. Towel off. Take a drink. Manage where your drink is. Are you close to the end of that water bottle? Now, if you haven't been using an electrolyte mix prior to now, because now is a little warmer and you're going to sweat more, this might be a good time to start incorporating that into Tuesday nights, which then you should carry over into when you're outside, because that makes a huge difference. And I think, as I mentioned to you before, whatever mix you're selecting, make sure you're reading the ingredients so you know what you're ingesting. The fewer the ingredients, obviously, the better. And if you can't read the words or pronounce them, you might want to look at something else. So I was looking at a protein mix that Randy had gotten. I don't know, maybe he won it at a race or something. I was going to give it to my nephew. And then when I looked at it and looked at the ingredients, there were more ingredients on the list than there was the description of what the mix was supposed to be for. So I didn't give it to him. I actually threw it away because it wasn't worth using and getting all that stuff that you don't need. You can buy pure, plain whey protein, and it will have 2 ingredients. So consider that. And same thing with the drink mixes. I know I've talked to you guys about Scratch. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do like them and Osmo because they're using pure cane sugar, not stevia, not monk fruit, not any artificial sweeteners, which I don't really like the taste of. All right, so we're coming up on 3 recovery. We're going to go another half, and then we're going to finish up with 1 little block. It's going to look just like it did at the beginning. Just to keep you honest, we're going to do 30 seconds standing, 30 seconds seated. You're going to pick big ring, whatever gear you want. I just want the 30 seconds of standing to be a little spirited, a little more spirited than what it might have been with these other efforts because you didn't have any time to rest. So make sure you get in a big ring because that's what I want you to be in. You get to pick the other gear, but remember, you want a gear that's going to give you some resistance. Go ahead and pick it. 3, 2, 1 in your hood, standing up. Let's go. Make it a little spirited. Those of you with wattage, make it get into zone 4. Just spin the legs. Find your balance. Keep it moving. 3, 2, 1. Go to the top of your cassette. Stay in your big ring. I know it's a little cross chain. Just spin it out easy. If your cadence at 70, that's okay. If you like that gear, use the same one for the next effort. If you feel like it was too easy, find a harder one. All right, find that gear. 3, 2, 1. Stand it up again. Keep it spirited. Feel like you're dancing on the pedals. Get your leg speed up. 10 to go. 3, 2, 1. Sit back down. 1 more to go. Woo. The legs are burning a bit. That's okay. That's what we want. When you start to introduce that burning sensation to the body, then it gets used to it. It knows how to deal with it. It gets stronger by seeing it. Here we go again. Last one. Pick your gear. 3, 2, let's go. Last 15. Pick it up if you can. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Back down to that small ring. Easy gear. Woo! Spinning it out. Finish your bottle. Let your legs just spin at a gear that feels comfortable. So one thing for those of you that are using clipless, which I think is everybody, I use a look compatible cleat. And the one thing that I always have in my pocket when I'm outside are my cleat covers. Every time I get off my bike, if I know I'm going to be walking at all or moving from where I've stopped, I immediately put my cleat covers on. Why? So the plastic that they make the look covers with is really not that durable. By walking on them, you're going to get them to wear a lot faster. So by having a cleat cover that will save your cleats at least a little bit, and for anybody that has speed play and you've walked through a dirty field and you've tried to clip in to your speed play pedals, it can be virtually impossible if you get dirt inside that speed play circle. So here's a couple of tricks if that happens. One, of course, you can take the shoe off, bang them together. That'll shake the dirt out. If that doesn't seem to work and you have water to spare, not that you're in the middle of nowhere, take your water bottle, squirt some water in the cleat, very close to it, wherever you feel the problem might be. That might shake that dirt out. or flush it out if the dirt is kind of soft. And that's the last thing that you want to have happen is dirt to get in those cleats. If you're using an SPD, doesn't happen too much, but what can happen with an SPD is sometimes if you're using a walking shoe or a mountain bike shoe, the cleat sits very close to the rubber edges of the walking portion of the shoe. So you may need to take a stick or even a dime or something that's hard along the edges to get the dirt away from the edges of that cleat. Because if the cleat doesn't engage properly into the pedal, you could be doing an effort like we just did out of the saddle and pull your foot completely out of the pedal, which could possibly cause you to crash if you don't have the skill set to keep yourself upright. So that's a little ways to help yourself. Even when I go out in the evenings for maybe an hour ride, I always have my cleat covers with me. You never know if you're going to get a flat, if you're going to have to walk. It's a really good habit to get into because they are lifesavers for sure. Great job tonight, guys. This one wasn't so easy, but I hope that you saw how when you were in those harder gears and the lower cadences, it was a lot harder to get that 30 seconds to happen because your legs get a little bit more bogged down than what they would when you're spinning the legs. So that's why I push you spin, 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 because spinning definitely allows you to have a little bit more, a lot more spunk in your leg speed. And leg speed is definitely king, for sure. We're going to go 30 more seconds. So whatever you have left in your bottle, finish that up. And then, what are you going to do after this workout? You're going to get your recovery drink. Yes, everybody. And just a reminder, if you forgot, the poor man's recovery drink: almond milk, Greek yogurt, a banana, some coconut if you have it, maybe an avocado, maybe some nut butter if you like it, some spinach to give you some iron, some chia seeds if you have them, and if you have protein powder, you're going to put that in there too. That is your poor man without the protein powder. I guess rich man with the protein powder. All right. Great job, everybody. Woo!